Tigers 88 continues. Today's game is brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers, by your Greater Michigan and Metro Detroit Ford dealers, by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has your order. Make a run for the border. And by Highland Superstores. Nobody gives you more, and nobody, but nobody, sells for less.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Metrodome in Minnesota. I'm George Kell, along with Al Kaline, and we're ready for game number 3 of this 3-game series. A week ago today, we came to you from Chicago. The Tigers going for a sweep over there. This afternoon, they're trying to avoid a sweep here in the Metrodome. They'll be sending Doyle Alexander out. Doyle's won 4, lost 3, pitched extremely well for the Tigers this year. And a left-hander, Alan Anderson, will pitch for Minnesota. He was the losing pitcher in the only game the Tigers have won against Minnesota this year. Al Kaline is with us. He has the starting lineup.
Okay, George, a lot of changes, a lot of late changes, but here they are. Leading off, Tommy Brookins at third base. Batting second, Jim Morrison playing first base. Batting third, the left fielder, Luis Salazar. Batting fourth, the shortstop, is Alan Trammell. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Chet Lemon. Batting sixth, Larry Herndon is the designated hitter. Batting seventh, the catcher, is Mike Heath. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Pat Sheridan. And the ninth batter is Jim Whalewander at second base.
And the first pitch of the ball game is a strike to Tommy Brookins. Brookins, Morrison, and Salazar will be the Tiger batters. And a tap foul off to the right. The umpire behind the plate today is Ken Kaiser. Terry Cooney is at first base, Durwood Merrill at second base, and Joe Brinkman on at third. Pitch is inside, and it's 1-2 to Brookins.
Anderson's contract was purchased from the Portland Ball Club on April the 25th.
He delivers low. Ball 2 and strike 2. The old home run ball has been the bugaboo of the Tigers this weekend. This one's hit foul and almost picked off Alex Grammas. A 3-run homer here on Friday night by Randy Bush proved to be the Tigers' downfall, and Gary Gaetti last night along with Puckett. Here's a base hit into right. Tommy Brookins opens the ball game with a solid base hit to right field. Jim Morrison will bat second today. He's playing at first base. In the original lineup until just moments before game time, Lou Whitaker was playing second base and batting second. He was scratched. Whalewander added to the lineup and inserted in the number 9 position. Here's a strike to Morrison. Jim Morrison looking for his first home run of the '88 campaign. And the 1-strike pitch. It's over but low. 1-1. Alex Grammas coaches at third, and Dick Trzaskowski coaches at first base for the Tigers. Tigers are going to be trying to make something happen today. I had a long visit with Sparky on the bench before the game. He said, we just got to make something happen. This one's hit foul. He pointed out, rightly so, we did on the opening game, Al, that when you come into the Metrodome, you better score some runs. And we have not scored runs, he said.
Well, this is a ballpark that will be a lot of runs scored, and the Twins team have a lot of solid hitters in their lineup, and they do extremely well here at the Metrodome.
Here's one into left center field. This is going to drop in. Herbie Puckett cuts it off. Headed for second is Morrison. Tigers have him at second and third. Nobody out. Oh, the Tigers come out swinging the bats here in the first inning. A single by Brookins and a double by Morrison.
Well, Morrison doesn't get a chance to play very often, and it's a very difficult role to play, but here he comes through with a big base hit in the gap in left center field. The Tigers have faced Anderson not only the second time this year, but a couple of times last season. In fact, this is the only team that he has faced more than once, and that's the Tigers.
Here's Salazar. He had a bases-loaded base hit last night when the Tigers were down 2-0. Luis batting at .330, and they're playing deep on the infield. Pitch is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Tigers beat this fellow a week ago Friday night in Detroit. Here's a drive into right, a base hit. Morrison is going to be waved in. Tigers will lead it 2-0 on 3 straight hits.
Well, something the Tigers certainly have not seen very often this season. 3 hits in a row, and no telling where the Tigers would be if it was not for Luis Salazar. What a great job he has done, and all of a sudden a quick hurry up in the bullpen for the Twins.
Boy, what I liked about Salazar, Al, he went to right field with it. If he didn't get a base hit, he intended to ground the run in and send the other man on to third base, and he got a solid base hit.
Well, no question that Salazar knows how to play the game. He's been around a while. Of course, he's a veteran player, 31 years old, and he did exactly what you said, George. Had he not hit the ball for a base hit, at least he was going to try to advance the runner from third base in and then second base to third base. Is that Portugal?
Mark Portugal, you're right, throwing in the bullpen. There's Alan Trammell with a runner at first, nobody out. 2 runs in the first inning. Bouncer foul just outside the line. Kenny Kaiser quickly gave the call from behind the plate. If the ball goes foul before it gets to third base, the responsibility lies with the plate umpire. After it passes the base, the responsibility lies with the third base umpire. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, unless there is a base runner who should happen to screen the home plate umpire. There is a possibility that
he would make the call in his place, but the responsibility lies in those areas. Strike 2 to Allen. Well, they start their bullpen quickly here. Another large crowd at the Metrodome. They have hardly got seated, and the Tigers lead it 2-0. And the 2-strike pitch. This one's popped up into right field. Randy Bush puts it away, and the first out of the inning. Well, Trammell is out, and the batter will be Chet Lemon.
Trammell a little disappointed, but he has been doing a terrific job for the Tigers since about April 28th or so. One of the top hitters in baseball. Moved his batting average well up over 300.
Here's Chet Lemon. He is the only Tiger player to start every game this year.
And I noticed today that Chester was in the trainer's room with heat pads on both his legs.
He takes a strike.
Well, Chester likes to play, and he puts the uniform on. He has one thing in mind, that's to play.
Runner at first base, Salazar, 1 out, and the 1-strike pitch to Chet Lemon. That'll make it 1-1. This is Chester's ballpark. He hits extremely well here. He likes it up here. White Sox have taken the lead over Toronto again, 2-1. They're playing in the bottom of the 3rd inning. LaPointe against Cerruti, a couple of left-handers. Here's one into deep right center, but Puckett's going to catch it in deep right center. Oh, I'm telling you, if it stays in the ballpark, that guy will catch it.
He's one of the few guys I would really pay to go come watch play. He is just an exciting ball player, and certainly the big favorite here in Twins territory, which it should be. This guy covers a lot of ground, both a great offensive player and a super defensive player. Gold Glove winner.
Well, he just saved a 3-base hit and a run batted in. Caught it at the last moment, just as far as he could go. That's the second out of the inning, and it'll bring up Larry Herndon, who just pumped about 10 out of here in batting practice. So he knows where it is in left field. Pitch is outside. Tigers 2 here in the first inning. First 3 batters getting base hits. And here's another base hit. Salazar makes the turn. He's going to hold on, and he better get back as Dan Gladden threw behind him, and he had to hustle back to second. Allenson has fooled no one here in the first inning. He did get Trammell to pop it up. Other than that, it's all been line drives.
Well, what the Tigers have been doing, and it's pretty obvious sitting here watching, they're hitting the ball straight away in the opposite field. They're not trying to pull the ball away from them.
Mike Heath fouls it away.
You get a pitcher like Anderson, he's not overpowering. He relies on control, and he's going to try to get you to hit that low outside pitch and hit it on the ground.
Well, Mike Heath could cap off a big first inning with a long blow. He swings at a bad pitch. So it's strike 2 to Mike. Another crowd of 37, 38,000. They'll go over the 120,000 mark they predicted for the weekend. This one tapped up the middle and will be picked off by Gagne. 2 runs in the inning on 4 hits. The Tigers strand 2. We go to the bottom of the first, 2-0.
Leading off, the left fielder Dan Gladden. Batting second, the second baseman Tom Herr. Batting third, the center fielder Kirby Puckett. Batting fourth, Kent Herbeck, the DH today. Batting fifth, playing third base, Gary Gaetti. Batting sixth, Randy Bush in right field. Batting seventh, the first baseman Gene Larkin. Batting eighth, first time in the lineup, former Tiger Brian Harper, the catcher. Batting ninth, the shortstop Greg Gagne. Defensively for the Tigers, Salazar, Sheridan, and Lemon in the outfield. Brookins, Trammell, Whalewander, Morrison at first base, and Heath behind the plate. Doyle Alexander on the mound for the Tigers. You see his record there, 4 wins and 3 losses. He's making his 11th start and appearance, and he's coming off of a 7-0 loss to the Brewers last Thursday in Detroit, and he pitched only 2 2/3 innings in that game, and that ended a string of 38 straight starts in which Doyle has not tossed at least 6 innings. It was the shortest regular season outing since June 17th, 1986, and that was his last start for the Toronto Blue Jays. He lasted just 2 2/3 innings. Doyle, of course, an excellent acquisition by the Detroit Tigers last year, and he's been doing a yeoman job. His record is 13-3 in 21 starts since joining the Tigers from Atlanta in August of 1987. Doyle, of course, last season went 9-0 for the Detroit Tigers, and the Tigers in all of his 11 starts won all 11. Doyle Alexander on the mound for the Tigers.
So it'll be Dan Gladden to lead it off, then Tommy Herr and Kirby Puckett. And the Tigers have got to get this fella out if they're going to beat the Twins. 3 hits on Friday night, 2 last night. Twins have won 8 of their last 9 against right-handers. Their only loss was to Alexander. And the pitch to Gladden. It's a ball. Big Ken Kaiser calling the balls and strikes. Very little animation from this fella. It's ball 2. Yes, sir. He's batted .625 with 3 runs and 2 steals in this series. He stole second and third here on Friday night. And a strike makes it 2-1.
I had breakfast with Dick Trzaskowski and Billy Consoto. I said, how are they trying to pitch Gladden? He says, Al, he says, we're trying to keep the ball down and away from him, but we've been throwing everything high in the strike zone.
And the pitch again is a little bit high. Ball 3. Ball 3, strike 1. Well, you don't want to walk him. He is a threat to run. And Alexander behind, 3-1. A strike makes it 3-2.
You get a shot of Gladden's face, and you'll see that he is growing a beard. And several of the Twins, I understand, has decided they're not going to shave until they lose.
Ball 3, strike 2. Here's a long drive into deep left field. Ball well hit and gone.
Boy, is he hot or not? We're going to start calling him Dan Ty Cobb Gladden after this series. He has done everything to destroy Tiger pitching. It's the 3rd home run of the year. Big favorite in Twin City area here. You see a fastball again in the middle of the plate and up in the strike zone. Just cannot get the ball down to this guy, and it happens. It's not like the pitchers are not trying to get the ball in a good location.
2-1 ball game, and the batter is Tommy Herr. Alexander delivers a strike to Tom Herr. Just a reminder now that coming up later will be our Miller Lite Tiger home run inning. And if your postcard is selected and a Tiger hits a home run during this inning, you're going to win $1,000 from Miller Beer. So stay tuned. You could be a winner. We had a winner last night, $1,200 worth.
Nice little piece of change, huh?
Yeah. Thanks to Pat Sheridan, who drilled one into the upper deck. Strike 2 to Herr. And the pitch from Alexander. Ooh, Doyle thought he had him.
Well, I just cannot understand the strike zone in baseball today. That ball was waist high, and I'm not saying just because it's against Detroit. It's every place. I mean, the ball waist high is a ball anymore. It used to be just below the shoulders.
He struck him out on a bad pitch. Well, I told you, Al, on Friday night that my good friend Ken Kaiser has a very small strike zone. Here's the pitch he strikes out on. Not in the strike zone at all. But Kenny Kaiser seems to have a smaller strike zone than some umpires. It varies from umpire to umpire.
Hey, they seem like they're taking everything away from the pitchers. They're calling the balks now. They lowered the pitching mound. They lowered the strike zone. Wow. You have to be a magician to be a great pitcher today.
There's Kirby Puckett. Look out. I don't know whether Kirby Puckett is shaved or not, but he got shaved a little bit by Alexander.
Yeah, it's an unwritten rule in baseball. You don't do that very often. It really shakes the hitter up when all of a sudden it is thrown close to you. You never see it very often anymore.
1 ball, no strikes. Tigers got 2 in the top of this inning. Gladden with a home run to cut it to 2-1. And a pitch outside, ball 2 to Puckett. They have some fellows on this ball club that can really hammer the baseball. Kirby Puckett is one of them, and he fouls it away. He had a home run last night, a 2-run shot. You know, you look around the league, we do, as former ball players and broadcasters, and we say, well, if we're going to start a team, where would we start, with this guy or this guy? We used to say Mattingly always. You might start with Kirby Puckett.
Wouldn't be a bad choice.
It's ball 2 and strike 1. This ball is hit like a bullet and picked off by Morrison. Well, that's why you like him. He hits it just as hard to the opposite field as he does when he pulls it. And he has a few choice words for Alexander when he came back across the diamond. And he's still hollering at him.
That's the price you play for being a great player. You have to take it every once in a while.
Ken Herbeck fouls it away down the left field line. He bats with 2 outs and nobody on. 1 run in here in the first inning. This fellow has 12 home runs.
He's tied in the American League with Canseco for the lead in home runs.
One ball, 1 strike. Alexander doesn't waste much time. He knows what he intends to do. He gets the ball and he's ready to go. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a ball. Ball 2.
Alexander is one of the few pitchers, him and I think Frank Tanana, call their own game on the mound. You'll take notice that he will always call his own pitches. The catcher will put down a sign and he'll wipe on his pants exactly if he wants to add or subtract. So he calls his own game.
He is keeping the ball away from Herbeck, as you might expect. This fellow just plays ping pong with the right field wall here if you get it inside to him. And he fouls this one in the upper deck. Milwaukee has taken a 4-2 lead over Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the 3rd. That's Fowler pitching. He shut the Tigers out in Detroit. Ball 3, strike 2. The pitch outside. He missed a walk to Herbeck. First walk of the game issued by Alexander. A runner at first, 2 down, and the batter is Gary Gaetti. Gary had a 2-run homer in last night's game. And a pitch outside. Gary said in the morning paper he made 3 easy outs trying to pull the ball last night. Tom Kelly suggested he go to right field his last time up. He did, and he hit it out of here. This one bounced foul down the 3rd baseline.
Well, a lot of players know that they should do that on occasion, but very few players are able to do it when they try it. Gaetti, one of the real good players in baseball today, and certainly the last couple years can equal just about any 3rd baseman in baseball, and that's including Mike Smith. The last 2 years he had 34 home runs and 31 home runs last season.
Mike Smith is having a horrible time over in Philadelphia. He has been 0 for 30, then 7 for 65, and numbers like that. He's just having a tough time. And a great hitter.
Probably the best 3rd baseman who has ever played the game.
Well, for everything.
Yes.
For everything. Fielder, thrower, hitter, power. He has absolutely put some numbers on the board that's going to be hard to match. Doyle keeping the ball away from these big, strong hitters. He pitched outside to Herbeck, finally walked him, and he's pitching away from Gaetti. Ball 3, strike 1. But it doesn't get much easier. Randy Bush is next. This one's foul back. Well, things have really been popping in baseball this weekend. Larry Boa was released as manager of the San Diego clubs, and he didn't go out easily either. He took a few shots at President Chub Feeney of the ball club before he left. Here's the pitch. He walked him.
Well, you're talking about Larry Boa, and I guess Chub Feeney, who is what, president?
He's president of the ball club,
Yeah.
San Diego.
He called him on the phone, and Larry Boa said, are you calling me to fire me? And he says, yes. He said, then I don't have to see you then.
No. He had asked him to come up to his room, and he says, is it to fire me? He said, yeah. He said, I don't need to come up there. Bang, down with the phone, and then he really tore into Mr. Feeney.
Yeah, they've taken some shots at each other, haven't they?
And then today, Lou Piniella resigned in New York. He says, I can't get along with Billy Martin. There's a strike.
I really feel that Piniella wants to be on the field. You know, that's sitting in New York, particularly New York, in the front office every day. After being on the field, it's got to be kind of tough.
2 on and 2 outs in the first inning as Alexander tries to get him out. He will. Well, under flips it over to Trammell in time for the out. They get a run on the home run by Gladden at the end of 1 inning. Tigers 2, Minnesota 1. And it's a tough question.
Yeah, we're going to have to help him a little bit on this, George. You know, we don't do it very often, but we're going to have to give him a little bit of help.
No, you don't now.
Okay, which current member of the Twins got his first hit and first home run off Detroit Tiger pitcher? Now, this guy, very similar to Sparky Anderson as a player. His batting average, not a very good hitter.
You said that. You said that.
He wasn't. I think he admits to it.
Pat Sheridan, the batter. Ball 2, no strikes.
Played for the Twins in 1975, very briefly.
Here's a strike. That'll make it 2-1. And the pitch from Anderson. Outside, ball 3. You've got to throw strikes for Kitty Kaiser. Tigers have won 6 of their last 8 games against left-handers, averaging over 5 runs a game, and a walk to Sheridan will start the second inning. You get the feeling that Anderson's not going to be here long if he doesn't get him out. They had action going in the bullpen, and you see Kelly saying,
he played for the Twins in
just briefly. Just briefly.
Wasn't a very good player either.
No, he decided his place in the game was managing, and he hit a lot like Sparky. Here's a bunt. They'll go to first base with it, and Whale Wander is out. He executes the bunt to perfection. Down to second goes Sheridan. A little unusual here in the second inning, but Sparky told me before the game, we got to do something. We got to make something happen. And he quickly orders the bunt. And the batter is Brookins, who singled and scored a run in the first inning. Sheridan, second, has good speed. 1 ball, no strikes. Alex Grammas told me before the game, he says, boy, you got to be careful in this ballpark. Base hits, you normally wave the runner in. You got to be sure the ball gets to the outfielder so quick. Here's a line drive that's going to be caught, and a double play. Sheridan thought it was going to get over Gagney's head, but he spared it, turns it into a double play. We'll go to the bottom of the second, 2-1 Detroit.
We're going to take a look at the last double play to end the inning. This ball looked like it was hit a lot harder than it was, but it was on the end of the bat. Sheridan thought it was over the head of the shortstop, and an easy double play.
Well, our first trivia call went to Ken Dolot of Detroit, and Kenny was not at home, so our second call is going to Taylor, Michigan.
Tough question. You have to be really into the game to know this one. And which current member of the Twins got his first hit and first home run off Detroit Tiger pitching? And we mentioned that he played for the Twins in 1975 and that he had a career similar to Sparky Anderson, not very good.
Still similar.
Yeah, very similar.
They're both winners.
And his first hit was off of Joe Coleman.
Gene Larkin will lead it off. This big fella has been the designated hitter this series. He's playing at first base today. From Columbia University, where he broke all of Lou Gehrig's records. As Al told you last night. I don't know what that means, but to be mentioned in the same breath with Lou Gehrig would suit me.
Yeah, it really would. That's a tough handle to have on anybody, though.
Yeah.
They expect an awful lot of you if that was the case.
This is a foul ball, strike 2.
But I would imagine when Lou Gehrig played, they didn't have the 80 or 90 game schedule that they do now have in college. As you know, they go down south for a 10-day period, 2-week period, and play 20, 25 games. And this guy's a good player, no question about it. And it's awful nice to have a switch hitter in the lineup, whether as a first baseman or as a DH.
Especially a DH.
Can move around.
It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch from Alexander. Doyle has walked a couple of batters in this game after the home run. He got her and Puckett in the first inning. Then he walked Herbeck, walked Gaetti, got Randy Bush to bounce out to end the inning. There's a fly ball to left. Salazar will put it away. Very easy motion out there for Salazar. The batter is Brian Harper. They just called this fellow up.
Yeah, this is his debut for the Twins, and of course he was a member of the Detroit Tigers back in '86. He played in only 19 games, and at that time he was just learning to become a catcher.
I want you to look at these stats now. This is in 46 ball games. He has 13 home runs and 42 runs batted in.
That's an amazing stat.
In 46 ball games.
And what I remember of Brian is he swings the bat very hard.
The 1-strike pitch, and he didn't swing very hard on a let-up pitch, completely fooled. Last week he was named the minor league player of the year. That was the second time. Here he is, minor league player of the year. Second time this year he was minor league player of the week. He had 7 home runs last week in 6 ball games. And the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Well, welcome to the big leagues, Brian.
Well, it's a little different up here because pitchers can get several different pitches over the plate, and that's why they're here. The ability is no different than AAA or Major League, but on a Major League level, they get more pitches over the plate. And, of course, that one was not over the plate, and he has to be a very anxious young man in his first game.
Here's Gagne, who did not play last night. He hasn't been hitting well, and they gave him the day off. 182 batting average, 2 home runs. Lombardozzi played shortstop last night, which prompted General Manager Andy McPhail to say after the game, I don't think we're interested in trading Lombardozzi. He can do too many things for us. Shortstop, second base, pinch hit. Oh, he hits this one hard, deep into left. 1 hop to the fence, and it'll be a stand-up double for Gagne. Well, 182 or whatever. He jumps all over this one.
Well, you see again, he throws the ball up and in the middle of the plate, and I've never seen Doyle Alexander in his last 2 outings throw so many pitches in the middle of the plate. And it seems to me that the hitters are looking for the ball out over the plate more and more off of Doyle. He's going to have to start throwing inside once in a while.
Well, the tying run is at second, 2 outs, and the batter is Gladden, who had a home run to start the game for Minnesota. Twins lead the American League with 96 doubles. 1 ball, no strikes. Tommy Herr would follow Dan Gladden if he gets on. I'd say they're going to be mighty careful with this fella. He's red hot right now. Herr, even though he's a left-handed batter, is not red hot at the moment. And a strike makes it 1-1. This is how well he has been hitting. 11 for 20, 550 batting average in this 6-game hitting streak. Doyle trying to get him out in the 2nd inning. And a pitch outside makes it ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. Nolan Ryan is pitching in Chicago today, and he gave up a run in the 1st inning to the Cubs. Ball 3, no advance. Mike pounces on it quickly. Ball 3, strike 1. Alexander went to 3-1 in the 1st inning on Gladden, then 3-2, and then he hit a home run. And he got the first 2 batters this inning before the double by Gagne. And the 3-1 pitch to Gladden. He walked him. This is very unlike Alexander. He doesn't normally walk many, and he's walked 3 here in the first 2 and 1 2/3 innings. Tommy Herr struck out his first time up. 2 on and 2 outs. And a ball chopped foul. Wayne Terwilliger, there he is. From Western Michigan, picks it off. One of the real nice guys in this game.
He's got number 45 on his back. He's probably been in the game close to 45 years. You think?
No.
You don't?
No, he's not that old, is he?
I don't know. But
No.
I seem to remember him as long as I've been around baseball, and I've been around it since '53.
Well, we'll check it out here in a moment. Right now, we've got to help Doyle Alexander get him out in the 2nd inning. And another foul ball.
This guy's a little more tougher out with men on base. His history in the big leagues is he's a much better hitter with men on base than with no one on. Of course, when he played for the St. Louis Cardinals his first 7.5 years, he always had men on base.
Boy, Wayne Terwilliger has been around a little bit longer than I thought. Born in 1925. Strike 2 to Tommy Herr. He hits it on the ground to 2nd base. Will Wander will toss him out, and the inning is over. At the end of 2, the Tigers lead by 1. We're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Tigers 88. And if you want an informative program that gets to the heart of the story, watch A Current Affair. That's weekdays at 4, starting June 6th on Channel 4. Here come the Tigers in the 3rd inning. Morrison, who had a double, will be the leadoff man. He doubled, scored a run in the 1st inning. Tigers had 3 straight hits, a single by Brookins, a double by Morrison, then a single by Salazar. Got the 2 runs in. Here's a bunt, but right back at the mound, and Jim Morrison didn't have a chance. So there's one out, and the batter will be Salazar, who singled in a couple his first time up. Well, Al, our second trivia call went to David Massey and Taylor. David, you just could not answer your question.
Well, we knew this was going to be a tough one. Now, you have to be really a good baseball fan to understand this question. And I'll give it to you right after this pitch to Salazar. Okay, which current member of the Twins? Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a player.
Well,
it could be a coach and probably a manager.
Yeah.
Got his first hit and first home run off of Detroit Tiger pitching. And he did that in 1975.
Okay. Here's Tom Kelly, manager of the Minnesota Ball Club. Our third call today is going to Hudsonville, Michigan. And the pitch to Salazar. Fly ball to right. Randy Bush is there. He'll put it away, and 2 outs in the third inning. Well, the Tigers jumped all over Allenson in the first inning. Anderson, but they've been quiet since then. Since the single by Herndon. He's allowed only 1 runner. That was a walk. And he was doubled up. So young Mr. Anderson getting his act together. Alan Trammell flied to right field his first time up.
And you can see the difference in just a month. Alan Trammell, 244 in April and 391 in May. So he has come on like gangbusters in the last month or so.
This one's going to be foul down the right field line and picked off in the Tiger bullpen. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the third inning. This young fella went to spring training, then he was sent to Portland. They bought him back, and he's pitched well for them. Only won 1 and lost 3, but they like him. They like him very much. They started the year with a veteran pitching staff, but it didn't take them long. Necro, Carlton, Martinez. 1 more. They had 4 they cut here very early in the year. All veteran pitchers. Ball 2 and strike 2 to Trammell. Chops this one high, and the throw, they're going to have to hurry. They didn't get him. Anderson had time to get him. He just sort of made a nonchalant play out of it, and Trammell runs a little better than you might think.
Yeah, Allen gives the impression that he's not running fast, but boy, he has great technique as far as running straight ahead.
And he's like most ball players. When they see a base hit in sight, they turn on the burners a little bit. Here's Chet Lemon. Chester was robbed of a hit by Puckett in the deepest part of this ballpark in the first inning. Of the Tigers had something real big going. Pitch out, and nothing happens. They might run a little bit on Harper just to see if he can throw.
Well, he has a good arm. There's no question he has a good arm. Former outfielder, but technique, I don't know. You know, he was an outfielder, but he has a good throwing arm. Whether he takes a long time to get rid of the ball, I do not know. I have not seen that much of him as a catcher.
Ball 2, no strikes to Lemon. Trammell, the runner at first, 2 outs. Tigers lead by a run here in the third inning. There he goes. We'll find out. Oh, he threw him out. A perfect throw by Harper. He made a great throw, and Trammell is out at second. At the end of 2.5, 2-1, Tigers lead it.
Hey, look at the Alan Trammell. He does not have a real good lead. A good lead is 1 foot on the carpet. And
now
if we roll it again, we'll see that that is the difference of being thrown out and being safe. Harper sort of sidearms the ball, Ball curving into Allen. Close play at second base, but he's called out. Looked like he was tagged a little high, but if Allen had gotten 1 foot on the carpet, I think he would have been safe.
Yeah, that would have been a good point, Al. Good point. And the fact that Anderson made a quick throw over there on the first pitch and made it very close made Allen a little bit gun-shy, and he didn't get the big lead. Kirby Puckett will lead it off. He hit the ball hard his first time up, and he was out on a good play by Morrison. Tigers 2, Minnesota 1. We're in the 3rd inning.
And we should point out that they had words after the first pitch to Kirby was high inside, and after he made the out at first base, he had several words to Alexander on his way back to the dugout.
And Doyle handled it like a pro. He understood that Kirby was a little bit upset. He didn't say anything back to him. He let him have his say, and you know, a lot of guys would jaw back at him, and that's where you get started. But
you know, most hitters don't mind being thrown close to, but they do if the ball's close to their head.
Here's a long drive to right field. This ball has got a chance, and it is gone. Kirby Puckett has tied the ball game with a home run.
And that's one quick way of stopping pitchers throwing at you, if in fact you think that you're being thrown at, is that to get a base hit your next time up, and usually that'll stop it. Because the reputation that you have, if you get up and swing the bat well after being knocked down, then the pitchers will not do it anymore. Of course, Kirby has such great power to the opposite field. This is a good ballpark for him to hit in, and just makes it over.
Ken Herbeck takes it high. Herbeck walked his first time up. Well, our 3rd trivia call today went to Fred Nagelkirk of Hudsonville, Michigan, and there was no answer at the home of Fred Nagelkirk. So our 4th call is going to North Muskegon, Michigan, and come on, North Muskegon. Mr. Kelly is going to be very disappointed and a little bit embarrassed. Pitch is outside. 374 feet they measure the home run. This fellow 1 of 3 to hit 20 home runs and 90 runs batted in each of the last 4 seasons. Pretty good stats.
And you see that last pitch, Herbeck really jumping into the ball, expecting the pitches to be away.
This is going to be out of play. All 3 strike 2. Tigers got 2 in the first inning. Minnesota has tied the ball game. A home run by Gladden in the first inning, leading off, and a home run here in the 3rd by Kirby Puckett. The 3-2 pitch. Line drive, and a great play by Morrison. Whoa, he took off like a rocket to his right.
Well, this is an excellent play by Jim, who doesn't get a chance to play first base very often. He's a 3rd baseman, plays a little bit outfield, but that's an outstanding play. That's a play where your reflexes, you just have to move and hope you catch the ball.
It's first out of the inning, and the batter is Gaetti, who had a walk his first time up. If you wondered who the other 2 batters were besides Herbeck, who had 20 home runs, 90 runs batted in the last 4 seasons, Mike Schmidt of the Phillies, and Don Mattingly over in New York. This one's hammered foul.
You saw where Mattingly's going to be on the disabled list for a while. He pulled a, what, rib muscle, was it?
I think so, in batting practice.
Yeah. He's going to be missed. They have a lot of guns over there, but certainly he's the top gun. He's the guy that sets it up for him, gets on base for those big hitters.
The pitch to Gaetti. Ooh, he blew it right by him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See where Wade Boggs is now 3rd in the American League in batting.
I'll give him till about 10th of August, 15th of August.
Lansford and Winfield better not sneeze.
No, he'll catch him. He's just trying to find out right now what it's going to take to lead the league. That's all he wants to do, whatever it takes.
Well, he said he doesn't want to hit 400 because everybody wants to talk to him about it.
Yeah, too much
attention.
Yeah. Wade, I believe everything you tell me except that. The 2-2 pitch. Ball hit on the ground to third. Tommy Brookins on to first, and Gaetti is out. Out number 2 in the third inning, and it'll bring up Randy Bush, who has bounced out in his only trip to the plate. Another big crowd at the Metrodome on this Sunday afternoon in Minnesota. And just a delightful day on the outside. 92 degrees yesterday was the high. Can you believe it? Key West didn't have much more than that.
It was rather warm today.
It was.
I was standing outside at a hotel for a while, and I was going to take a walk. I said, no, I better not.
Hey, we're thinking alike. I got up a little bit early. I was going to take my usual walk, and I'd already dressed for the game. I said, hey, it's too warm. I can't do it. It was very warm. Here's the pitch to Bush. He pops it up. Look out, Will Wander. Let Lemon have it. He does, and the inning is over. Jimmy going after it, but Lemon picks it off. At the end of 3, it's a 2-2 ball game. Have a trivia winner, our toughest question of the year, but not too tough for Bill Saberin up in North Muskegon now. He correctly answered your question. He's won 2 tickets to a Tiger home game.
Yeah, and you're going to get us in all kind of trouble by giving the answer again, George. Which current member of the Twins got his first hit and first home run of the year? First home run off of Tiger pitching. And, of course, that's the manager, Tom Kelly. He got his first hit off of Joe Coleman, his first home run off of Vern Rule.
That's who it was, Tom Kelly, huh? Okay, we're going to have another trivia question for you on our next pregame show, and that'll be next Sunday, 1 week from today, in Detroit. There's Chet Lemon. He was batting when Trammell was thrown out to end the third inning. Chester takes a breaking ball, one of the few breaking balls that Anderson has been able to get over.
Chester off to one of his better starts ever in his major league career as he lines one sharply in the stands. I'll tell you, boy, a lot of people are walking to go to the concessions, and I think they were kind of screened. Someone got hit rather hard.
Well, a big crowd here. You'd have trouble missing somebody. There's a pitch inside.
The way this stadium is built, everyone down on field level has to walk up quite a long ways to get to an exit.
This one hit his bat. Still 1-2. This is a beautiful ballpark, a beautiful dome. If you like the dome and the inside atmosphere, this is a nice one. We're panning it right now as you get a good look at it. No bleachers as such in this ballpark. Lower deck does not go all the way around, but the upper deck does. Here's one off the glove of the pitcher, and he's going to throw him out. Chester made it close at first base, but Alan Anderson did not take a lot of time as he did with Trammell's ball. Ball hit him all over. That'll bring up Larry Herndon with 1 out and nobody on. Larry had a single his first time up. Chet Lemon is having no luck at all. He hit one 400 feet that was caught in the first inning. Puckett ran it down in right center, then a shot off either the glove or the arm of the pitcher, who throws him out. Ball 2, no strikes. Larry Herndon rifled one into left field in the first inning, and he fouls this one away. Tigers team average in April 243 and 253 in May. Here's a fly ball into the deep part of the ballpark. Way back, and gone. A home run. Larry Herndon just took it into the deepest part of this ballpark. He was hitting some shots out of here in batting practice, if that's any indication of what's going to happen.
And you almost have to hold your breath because you never know what Kirby Puckett is going to do, whether or not he's going to make one of those sensational catches or not. And we're going to take a look at it again. Larry hits this thing straight away center field. Of course, it's only 408, as you see right there. Kirby, who has made a career of jumping over the fence.
Here's one down the line. This will be extra bases for Mike Heath, who's on his way to second. And a stand-up double for Heath. Now you keep waiting for Kirby Puckett to have a secret door out there in center field and open it and run out and catch it. But we're going to get action again.
That's Portugal, I believe.
Yeah, he was throwing in the first inning. And we have a left-hander and a right-hander in the Minnesota bullpen.
That's the big guy down there. That's Frank Viola. He's just stretching his arm out.
Yeah, he's not going to relieve for sure. Pitches high to Sheridan. Pat drew a walk his first time up. 3-2. Tigers lead it. We're in the fourth inning. Sheridan had a home run in last night's game that tied the ball game in the 8th inning. But the Twins got 3 in the bottom of the inning. 1 on a bounce out by Herbeck and 2 on a 2-run homer by Gaetti. This one's fouled away. It'll get back in the crowd. It's supposed to rain here tonight and tomorrow, but that will not dampen the ball game. The Texas Ball Club will be in here to play the Twins on Memorial Day. That is out on strike. He didn't have many good swings at Anderson. Watch Pat pull off the pitch.
Yeah, Pat doesn't see many left-handers, and you can see there the old butt flies out, and he has no chance hitting a breaking ball. You see that more with left-handed batters than I believe you do right-handed.
Why?
I guess because they don't see many left-handers.
Well, I would go out and have left-handers to pitch to me in batting practice day after day. Whale Wander sends a fly ball to right. It's going to be caught by Bush, and the inning is over. Tigers get a run on the home run by Herndon. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 3-2 Detroit. TV schedule this Saturday night. We'll be in Detroit against Cleveland at 7:30. And then Sunday, June 5th, 1 week from today at 1 o'clock against the Indians. And then it's on to Baltimore the next week. June 7th. Tuesday night at 7:30 and June 8th, Wednesday night at 7:30 from Baltimore. We'll be seeing the Baltimore club for the first time this year, and the Cleveland club.
Looking forward to the Baltimore trip. Of course, that's my hometown. Get a chance to see Mom and Dad and all the relatives. Get a chance, my wife and I, to get back and see some of her relatives.
Yeah, I want you to get back to Baltimore more often so you can find your way around.
You'll never let me forget that.
For a guy who lives there, driving home from the ballpark with you is an experience. You have no way knowing where downtown is located. Gene Larkin, the batter. We wound up in Hagerstown one night, very near Hagerstown.
Go ahead, keep rubbing it in. I can take it. I'm a big guy. I can take it.
I'm telling it like it is. Is that what Howard Cosell said? Tell it like it is. 1 ball, 1 strike to Larkin. He flied to left field his first trip. This one hit on the ground to Morrison, and And let's see, not going to get him. Now let's see what happens. They put the tag on Larkin, claiming that he turned towards second. But Terry Cooney said no. That should be an error charged against Morrison. There's nothing on the board as yet.
They gave him a base hit. I can see why the Twins all have high batting averages. This is a play that should have been made. First of all, it should have been made by the second baseman, but you have to understand that Morrison is a third baseman, not used to playing first base. It would have been a routine play for Jim Whalewonder.
He's at first base, nobody out, and the batter is Harper, and he hits it on the ground. This might be a double play. Out at second and out at first. Harper hit the first pitch, 2 hops to Trammell.
Well, this ball is hit hard, but again, you see they're trying to pull that outside breaking ball, and it's a routine double play. Pitcher's best friend.
And the batter is Gagne, who had a double his first time up. He bats with 2 outs and nobody on. Tigers 3. Twins 2 in the 4th inning. 1 strike to Gagne. Boy, Kansas City's mad today. 7-1. They came from behind last night to win. And they lead 7-1 in the 4th inning, 3rd inning today. Saberhagen. That might be enough for him. 7 runs.
It's only 5-5 on the year, though. He's got better stuff than that.
Yeah, he has not pitched like he can. But you like him today with a 7-1 lead.
I think you could even win with a 7-1 lead.
Well, no, don't get carried away. But this is Saberhagen. Here's a pop-up on the infield. Tommy Brookins waves everybody away. At the end of 4, the Tigers lead it 3-2. Well, it's cap day at Tiger Stadium on Sunday, June 5th. The Tigers take on the Indians on that day, and you can watch from under your new Tigers cap that all the fans will receive as they enter the stadium. Now, these adjustable Tiger caps are compliments of your Metro Detroit Ford dealers and the Detroit Tigers. Game time on Sunday, June 5th is 1:35, so make your plans to be there on cap day. I said Kansas City won last night. I don't think they did. They were ahead 8-6 late in the game, and I think Texas won it. They've lost 6 in a row in Kansas City at home. There's Tommy Brookins, who fouls it away. Tommy had a single in the 1st inning, scored a run. Then he lined into a double play in the 2nd inning. His line drive was picked off by the shortstop. Ball 2, strike 1. Toronto has taken the lead over the White Sox in the 7th inning, 3-2. Ball 2, strike 2 to Brookins. And he struck him out. Changed up on him, and Tommy strikes out.
Now he takes a little off this ball. He turns it over out of the strike zone. Tommy just couldn't wait for the ball to get up there, and he swings at a bad pitch.
Jim Morrison had a double and scored a run. Then he bounced to the mound. He bunted and was thrown out by the pitcher. He bunted it right back to Anderson. Pittsburgh 3, Cincinnati nothing. They're in the 5th. Toronto has scored again in the 7th. 4-2. They now lead the White Sox at the end of 7. Toronto won on Friday night 3-2 with a couple of runs in the 9th inning. They lost on Saturday 3-2. Here's a fly ball into shallow center field. Puckett, now Bush there, and the second baseman finally catches it. Everybody converging on it, and Tommy Herr takes charge.
Tommy Herr gives the impression he's not too happy here. sort of moping around. And
you pay me $880,000, and I'm going to be happy a lot of places.
I can't think of any places I wouldn't be. I'm sure there is.
No, sir. How could you be unhappy? Here's another pop-up. Tommy Herr will put this one away on an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Tigers 3, Minnesota 2. Well, after each televised Tiger game, Al and I will be announcing the Miller Lite Tiger Player of the Game. The winner will have $100 donated in his name to the Children's Hospitals of Michigan by the Miller Brewing Company. Well, we have a winner at Indianapolis.
Oh,
the 500. Who do you pick?
Danny Sullivan.
I'll give you a bunch more picks. Rick Mears won it.
That's close.
Rick Mears, the winner of the Indy 500. That was your second pick. I just didn't give you a chance.
I picked Danny Sullivan because I'm going to throw little names around because I happened to meet him once.
You know him, huh?
Yeah. Used to drive for Domino's.
Yeah. All right.
See, that's how I met him.
That's good. Here's Gladden to lead it off. He's had a home run and a walk today. Tigers with a slender one-run lead here in the fifth inning. A couple of home runs accounting for the 2 Minnesota runs. Gladden had a home run in the first inning. Kirby Puckett in the third. And the red-hot Dan Gladden waiting on the pitch. Strike 2. You see that big call from Ken Kaiser? And he'll wave him out if he takes another one like that. Alexander ready. Got him, and he waved him out of there. 3 straight pitches. It's a bit unusual. Let's take a look at it.
It really is. And you see the old swing back. Ball starts outside and comes right back on the corner of the plate. The old swing back.
Tommy Herr, the batter, and he takes it over but low. San Diego 5, New York 1 in the 7th inning under a new manager today. Jack McKean is the manager. Vada Pinson told me before the game he played for Jack McKean when he managed the Kansas City club briefly. One ball, 1 strike to Tommy Herr. Ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. We're in the 5th. Tigers 3, Minnesota 2.
Jack McKean is one of those fraternity brothers of former managers. It seems like they always get a job when a job comes available.
Pitches outside to Herr. Ball 3. 3-1. Ooh, you don't want to walk this fellow with Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti coming up. Cardinals 3, Atlanta nothing. They're in the 6th inning. De Leon pitching for St. Louis. They got him from the White Sox. This is fouled away. We were talking about Tommy Herr looked like maybe he was unhappy here. His contract is up at the end of the year. So he can go anywhere he desires. If he gets an offer. Anywhere he gets an offer, I'll put it that way. And he'll get some. This is going to be foul.
He's indicated he would like to play closer to home. He's from the Pennsylvania area, I believe.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I played there in the Interstate League a few years ago.
I played there once.
Did you?
I sure did. I played there in the barnstorming trip. Isn't that the home of, let's see, the first baseman for the Washington? Vernon. Mickey Vernon, didn't he from that area there?
No, I tell you who lived there. Tiger third baseman Don Wirt lives there. Mickey Vernon lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh, isn't that what we're talking about? Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I was going to give you the town, Newcastle or something. But not Lancaster.
Okay.
But you've played there. Here's the pitch. Oh, her not getting around on the fastball at all. Chuck Wozniak has been there. Lancaster.
If they have hot dogs, he's been there.
All three, strike two to Tommy Herr. He's batting with 1 out and nobody on in the 5th inning. And this crowd getting into the game right now. And a base hit into right. Well, he fouled off a few pitches, then he drilled it into right field. Alexander is not hollering at the umpire. He's talking to Noakes, saying keep an eye on Herr at first base. We're going to hold him close. Kirby Puckett.
And they have a good base runner. Herr is 6-0 in stolen bases. Has not been thrown out this year.
Here's one hit into deep center, way back, and gone. Well, would you believe it? 2 home runs for this fellow today.
He hit his 7th home run in the 3rd inning, and now his 8th here in the 5th inning. This time straight away to center field. His first one went to right field.
Well, they've got the Hankies out here. They love it in Minnesota. He hit a good pitch.
Yeah, the ball inside.
Low.
They have been pitching him outside, and he's been getting all kind of base hits. This time he comes in, and just enough to get over the center field wall.
And the Twins take the lead 4-3 on the home run by Puckett. And here's a ball into right for a base hit. Herbeck drills it past Morrison into right field. Going to start some action in the Tiger bullpen.
Looks like Eric King taking his jacket off. There's Eric. Just brought up from the Toledo Ball Club a couple days ago.
Gaetti faking a bunt. Here he walked in the 1st inning, bounced out in the 3rd. It's Kirby Puckett. And the pitch to Gaetti. It's a strike. Makes it 1-1. Well, they flash the big sign on the scoreboard, loud, loud, and louder, and they don't have to tell them here in Minnesota. They make a lot of noise.
I really don't go for that. I don't think the fans should have to be prompted to make noise.
They'll tell you in St. Louis they make a lot of noise. Boy, that's all you heard from the Cardinals after the World Series. One ball, one strike, to Gaetti, a runner at first with 1 out. And a foul tip makes it 1-2. Well, the Yankees lead the American League East by a 1.5 over Cleveland, 3 over the Tigers. The Yankees lost last night in Seattle. Oakland has a 8-game bulge over Texas, 9 over Minnesota. In the American League West. It's 1-2 to Gary Gaetti. And another foul ball. In the National League, the Mets have a 5-game lead over Pittsburgh, 8.5 over St. Louis. The Dodgers in the National League West have a 1.5 lead over Houston, and 4 over the Giants and Cincinnati. This one fouled to the upper deck. He almost got that pitch by Gaetti. Alexander can lull you to sleep a little bit, nibbling to the outside, and then all of a sudden he throws it just a little bit harder, which he did on that pitch. Dan Gladden struck out to start this inning, but Tommy Herr had a single, Puckett a home run, then Herbeck had a single. And another foul ball. Doyle Alexander has not, as you pointed out, Al, pitched much inside today, keeping everything away from both the right and left-handed hitters. He's ready again. He jammed him with that one. Go 1-2. You got to be careful when you pitch inside in this ballpark. You better be sure it is inside with a little bit extra on it. This fellow will turn on it, as will Puckett, Herbeck, Bush, Dan Gladden. He's developed into a home run hitter. Pitch outside. Sparky has given the call to the bullpen. He wants to know if Eric King is ready. Alexander has thrown a lot of pitches. All 3. 3-2 to Gaetti. Eric King continues to throw in the bullpen. He gave the sign a moment ago that he was ready. Ball 3, strike 2. Herbeck at first base. We'll see if he's running. More than likely he will be. Yes, he is. And a tap that's foul. Gaetti will strike out, but he also puts the ball in play pretty good. Tigers very deep on the infield. The ball is hit sharply. They can still get Herbeck at second. He's on his way, and a long drive to center. Sheridan's going to catch it. He hit it on a line hard into center field. So Gaetti is out. That's the second out of the inning. It'll bring up Randy Bush. They've been able to get this fellow out today. Bounced out in the first inning. He popped it up in the third inning.
Randy's a good fastball hitter. He has very quick hands. He likes to try to pull the ball, and if Alexander's hitting the corners, then it should give him some trouble. But he has a quick bat, likes to pull the ball a lot.
He misses on the outside to Bush. Herbeck, the runner at first with 2 outs. A 2-run homer this inning. Put the Twins in front. Pitches inside. Ball 2, no strikes. And this fellow likes to hit from behind. 2-0, 3-1. We'll see what he gets here. A strike. Randy watched it sail by. Ball 2, strike 1. He had a 3-run homer off Jack Morris on Friday night. And he bounces it toward Weyerwander. At the end of 5, Minnesota has taken the lead 4-3 over the Tigers. Well, Tiger fans, if you're 14 or under, you can receive a sports equipment bag courtesy of True Value Hardware and the Tigers. So come see the Tigers play the Cleveland Indians on June 4th at 7:35, and you'll receive your Tiger blue and white nylon sports equipment bag as you enter the stadium. Compliments of True Value Hardware. Well, the Tigers behind in this ball game for the first time. Minnesota 4, the Tigers 3. Alan Trammell will lead it off, followed by Lemon and then Herndon. Allen had an infield single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Pitch is low. Philadelphia has a 4-2 lead in the ninth over the Giants. And a ball off the glove of the third baseman and a base hit for Trammell. Allen gets his second hit. Gaetti made a great attempt. Dive for it, got his glove on it and couldn't hold it.
This ball is hit extremely hard, and all you can do as a third baseman when the ball hits this hard is react, and you see the ball just off the end of his glove. Second hit for Trammell. He has hit safely now in 10 straight games.
It'll bring up Chet Lemon. And he hits it right into the glove and safe at first base. Ooh, they almost double Trammell off. Lemon has hit the ball hard 3 times today.
Oh, he has hit it sharply, and this one had double written all over it. Line drive. Gaetti makes a great play here. Almost doubles Trammell off at first base. Allen leaning a little towards second. Just gets back in time.
Juan Berenguer in the bullpen. He pitched 2 innings here on Friday night, struck out 5 in the 2 innings. This is Larry Herndon, who's had a single and a home run today. In that Philadelphia game, Lance Parrish hit a home run. Phillies lead in the ninth 4-2 over the Giants. Strike 2 to Herndon. Larry's home run went over the center field fence back in the 4th inning. This one inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trammell, the runner at first, 1 out. And the pitch coming up to Herndon. And maybe a double play ball. Out at second and out at first. They turn it. Gagne to her and back to first base. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-3 Minnesota. Of the scoring in today's game. A single by Salazar got a couple of runs in for the Tigers early in the ball game. Gladden came back with a home run to make it 2-1. Then a home run by Puckett tied the score at 2-2. Herndon hit a home run to make it 3-2, and Puckett again. That man Puckett, a 2-run homer in the 5th, makes it a 4-3 ball game in favor of the Twins. Gene Larkin will lead it off. He had a base hit his last time up. Four runs on 7 hits for the Minnesota Ball Club. Tigers have 3 runs. They have 8 hits. And a strike to Larkin. Last inning was a tough inning for Doyle Alexander. He gave up a single to her, a home run to Puckett, then a single to Herbeck. Gaetti hit the ball extremely hard. It was caught. And he finally got Randy Bush to bounce out. One ball, 1 strike to the Minnesota first baseman. Ball fouled, out of play. Jeff Robinson is throwing for the Tigers at the moment. Here he is.
Well, he's going to miss another turn because they have a day off tomorrow, and then, of course, Tanana and then Morris again on Wednesday night. So he's going to get some throwing in. Pitchers have to throw on a regular basis to keep their arms strong.
A 1-2 pitch. He sends a fly ball to center. Coming in under it is Pat Sheridan. He puts it away. So Larkin is out. First out in the 6th inning, and the batter will be Brian Harper. Brian playing in his first game since being recalled from the minor leagues. He struck out in the 2nd, hit into a double play in the 4th. And he pops it up behind second base. Whale Wander is there. So Harper is out. 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. We'll bring up Gagne. See Whale Wander. He's playing second base in place of Lou Whitaker.
Yeah, Lou came up with a bad back. He was in the lineup up until right before we went on the air, and then, of course, Sparky had to make a few changes.
There's Gagne, who doubled in the 2nd inning. Popped it up in the 4th inning. And he pops it up again. Jim Morrison waiting on it. So at the end of 6, it's Minnesota 4 and the Tigers 3. We're at the Metrodome in Minnesota. I'm George Kell along with Al Kaline. Minnesota 4 and the Tigers 3 in the 7th inning. Sparky looking on. They call this the Homer Dome, and they've been sailing out of here pretty good, Al, all weekend.
That's been the difference in the Twins right now and the Tigers. The Twins have been able to hit a few home runs, and the Tigers have only been able to muster 1.
3 home runs by Minnesota today, accounting for all 4 runs. Tigers have 1, as Al pointed out, from Herndon. Kirby Puckett has hit 2, batted in 3 runs. Dan Gladden hit the other one, leading off in the 1st inning. And this is Mike Heath, who's had a double today in 2 trips. Tomorrow's an off day for the Tigers. Very unusual to be off on a holiday. They'll open Tuesday night against the White Sox, a very abbreviated series against Chicago, Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's a pop-up. Everybody moving in, and Puckett takes charge. Randy Bush was in position to catch it, but they cleared out for Kirby Puckett. We're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Tigers 88. Well, a revealing look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the NBA's all-time leading scorer. That's tonight at 11:30 on Sports Final Edition. 1 strike to Sheridan. He's walked and struck out today. Pat's playing in center field in place of Gary Pettis. Gary's had a bad leg, and Sparky wanted to rest him on the artificial surface last night and again today, and he'll play on Tuesday night in Detroit. It's 1-2 to Sheridan. He bats with 1 out and nobody on. 7th inning in Minnesota. And a foul ball. Still 1-2. Sheridan got into the home run parade last night with a long drive. And he bounces this one foul. Sparky told me before the game, you don't expect to win up here if you don't make a bunch of runs, because he says they're going to make some runs in their own ballpark. The Tigers made 1 on Friday night, 2 last night, and that's not enough.
Well, you have quite a few Tigers really not having the years that everyone hoped they would and have had in previous years, and puts a lot of pressure on your pitching staff. You cannot make a mistake.
Pitches outside to Sheridan. All 3, strike 2. Jim Wander will bat next. The 3-2 pitch. And he struck him out. Pat Sheridan is out on strikes.
Well, he just spins the ball up there, throws a flat slider. You see it right there, right in the middle of the plate. Pat looked like he's looking for a fastball and pulled off the pitch. You have to stay on it, particularly with 2 strikes.
There's Wander. He bunted his first time up, then he flied to right. And takes a strike, says Kenny Kaiser. Boy, nobody runs a game better than Kaiser. He is in control. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. Ooh, he got a good breaking ball over. One of the few curveballs he's been able to get over. Makes it 1-2 to Jim. Anderson delivers, and he struck him out. That's 4 strikeouts today for Anderson. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-3 Minnesota. 4-3 Minnesota leads it here in the 7th inning. Tigers took an early 2-0 lead, but the home run ball has played a big role in this game. Gladden solo home run, then a solo blast by Puckett tied the game, and a 2-run homer by Puckett put the Twins in front.
And you take a look at the dome here. The centerpiece there you see are private boxes right at the center of the stadium, all the way around the stadium. Of course, the Minnesota Vikings also play here, and they are outstanding box seats for both the baseball and football games.
Dan Gladden will lead it off in the 7th inning. He's had a home run, a walk, and a strikeout. He struck out in the 5th inning, and he taps it toward the mound. Alexander will toss him out. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th. The batter is Herr, Tommy Herr, who had a base hit in the 5th inning. He scored the tying run when Kirby Puckett hit the 2-run homer. Puckett's home run put Minnesota in front in the 5th inning.
Berenguer is throwing again in the Twins bullpen. Everybody in the Tiger bullpen has been throwing.
The pitch to Herr. That's a strike.
Yes, Guillermo, everybody's been throwing, mainly because there's an off day tomorrow. But Guillermo is getting ready just in case they need to get a left-handed batter out.
Pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Herr. Dodgers 2, Montreal 1. That's the final score.
And you see Berenguer walking to the dugout. That's an indication he probably will be going into the game.
Ball hit down the line and picked off by Morrison. Good play by Jim Morrison. Tommy Herr hit it well, and he's out. And the batter will be Kirby Puckett. They had 35,000 in Montreal today. The Dodgers win it 2-1. Dodgers with a slender 1.5 game lead over Houston. Here's the big man, Puckett. 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. And a fly ball into shallow right field. Chet Lemon cruises in under it. And an easy inning for Doyle Alexander. At the end of 7, 4-3 Minnesota. Our Miller Lite Tiger home run inning, and going for the prize today is Warren Patterson from Roscommon, Michigan, whose postcard was selected at random by the independent accounting firms of Coopers and Librand prior to this game. And if a Tiger hits a home run this inning, Warren, you're going to win $1,000 from Miller Beer.
Okay, and we have a new pitcher. Juan Berenguer is coming in for the Twins, replacing Alan Anderson. And you see his won-and-loss record, 4 wins and 3 losses. Juan pitched in the first game against the Tigers here Friday night, and very impressive. 2 innings, he struck out 5. Struggling a little bit, but he's a big favorite here in the Twin Cities. After last season, the World Championship season for the Minnesota Twins, he had a record of 8 wins and only 1 loss. He pitched in 47 games a year ago.
He'll be facing Brookins to lead off, and he's going to be out of the game for a pinch batter, Bergman. Morrison's scheduled to be the second batter, and then Salazar. So Dave Bergman will come on to bat for Tommy Brookins. Twins 4, Tigers 3 in the 8th inning. Dave with 1 home run on the year. Batted in 4. And he fouls it away as Berenguer does what he does best, comes right at you with hard stuff. And the 1-strike pitch. We'll make it 1-1. This fella had just a little bit better control. He wouldn't want to have great control. He would have had a great career.
You don't see too many guys with better arms than he has. He throws the ball as hard as anybody in the game today, and but as you mentioned, George, he's just not consistent enough with his control. Good guy.
Ball 2, yeah, good guy.
Oh, he's a funny guy to be around.
Ball
Still
2,
makes his
strike.
home in Lathrop Village, George, Michigan.
Here's a drive into center field that'll be picked off by Puckett. Now, he was on the field yesterday before the game last night talking to Guillermo, and I walked by and I said, why don't you throw hard when you pitch? And he started laughing, and Guillermo said, if I threw that hard, my arm would come out of its socket. He does throw hard. Jim Morrison, he had a double in the first inning and scored a run. Tigers scored 2 runs in the first inning before Anderson got anybody out. Since then, they've scored only 1, and that was on a home run by Herndon. I tell you, when he gets that breaking ball over 2 in a row like he did to Morrison, he is tough. 2 straight breaking balls for strikes. What's 1-1? Missed with the first one. This one's outside, ball 2. Ball 2, strike 1. Jim Morrison doubled, bounced to the mound, popped to second base. He's 1 for 3. And a fly ball to left. Back goes Gladden on the warning track, and he'll catch it. He got him a little bit on the trademark. Jimmy didn't get all of it. He's out. Second out of the inning, and Salazar's the batter. Luis singled in 2 runs his first time up. He's 1 for 3. And a foul out of play. Jeff Reardon. He's the closer for this ball club. If they get into any trouble from here on in, we'll see Mr. Reardon. Here's one up the alley in right center. Bush on the go, and he'll catch it. Randy Bush into the gap in right center field. Ran it down. Tigers go out 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 4-3 Minnesota. Tiger home run, but just for entering, we would like to send Warren Patterson of Roscommon 2 tickets to an upcoming Tiger home game. Miller Beer will be adding another $100 to the pot for our next Miller Lite home run inning. That'll be next Saturday night in Detroit. And if you want to enter, you just send your name, address, age, and phone number on a postcard to Miller Lite Tiger home run inning. Box 920 Detroit 4-8-2-3-1.
And we have a couple of changes. Bergman is in the game at first base. Morrison moves from first base over to third.
Ken Herbeck will lead it off in the 8th inning. Gaetti and Bush will follow. The Twins lead by 1. Tigers trying to avoid a sweep here in the Metrodome this weekend. They've got only one more shot, and it looks like they're going to have to face Jeff Reardon. They've given the call down there for him to get ready, and anytime he starts heating it up, you got to believe he's coming into the game. Herbeck has had a walk and a single today and lined out his other trip. And here's a towering fly ball to center. It's going to be caught in deep center by Sheridan. Boy, every time it goes up in the air, you hold your breath. These big guys put a charge in it. We'll bring up Gaetti, who's 0 for 2. He had a walk his first time up. Bounced to third. He hit the ball hard into center field his last time. Deep center, Sheridan caught it. Pitch is outside. One ball, no strikes. And a strike makes it 1-1. Tiger pitchers have pitched well enough to win this weekend, but there's been a lot of pressure on them. Game has been tied or 1 run all the way. Here's Morrison with a big hop. Gaetti is out. Out number 2 in the 8th inning, and it'll bring up Randy Bush.
And I tell you, George, if the Tigers don't start getting some runs, it's going to be very rough for them to stay in contention, because you can't expect your pitching staff to go out there day in and day out and allow only 2 or 3 runs. Somebody's going to have to come to the front and start. We're going to have to start scoring some runs. You can't rely on 1 or 2 players in your lineup.
It looked like they were going to do it today. 2 in the first inning with nobody out, and since then they've had only 1 run, that on a home run. Here's Reardon coming in. He's the closer, and it looks like they're going to ask him to do it in the 9th with a 1-run lead, at least a 1-run lead. Here's one hit to deep center field. Sheridan on the go, and he can't get it. Bush is headed for third, and he'll have a triple.
Well, this ball is hit real hard. I thought it was a ball that Sheridan should have caught. He thought he was a little closer to the wall than he is. You'll notice that he'll back off from the wall now. He has plenty more room, and then all of a sudden he wants to jump instead of running to the ball. So he has a lot more room. He thought he was on the warning track, and to his defense, that you cannot feel the warning track here as you can in other ballparks. Although it is a little rougher surface than the AstroTurf, but unlike Tiger Stadium, where you have cinders that you feel when you hit it with your cleats.
So a 3-base hit for Randy Bush, and the batter is Larkin. And they're going to walk him. They're going to walk him and pitch to Brian Harper. Do they have a left-hander on the bench? We may see a batter for Larkin. They've got Moses and Newman.
Well, you know, as a manager, you have to think down the road a piece. They are leading, and you have to feel about the confidence factor. He's been calling a good game for the Twins, Harper. And I would say, knowing this guy, that he'll probably let Brian Harper hit.
He's a great confidence builder. That's what they like about him. The players like him. They think a whole lot of Kelly. He's going to let him bat, and here comes Billy Muffet to talk to Alexander.
Well, Billy doesn't make the changes, and there's no reason for him to make a change because he's had a very easy time with Brian Harper so far in this game. And in fact, he's been getting him out with pitches out over the plate, slow breaking pitches. And I would think that Coach Rennick just walked up to Brian Harper and probably made a little suggestion in his mind, say, look, he's going to try to pitch you away.
And the conversation at the mound, I believe, Al, was about the base runner, because Muffet was talking as much to Trammell as he was to Alexander. What are we going to do if he runs? How are we going to play it?
They might throw through, and then if they see the man running from third base, then you have either your shortstop or second baseman cut it off and throw home.
So Brian Harper will bat with runners at third, 2 outs. He's 0 for 3 in the game. And a line drive, base hit into left. He lines it over the head of Morrison into left field. And it's a 5-3 ball game.
And a very big run playing here in a small ballpark. Anything can happen. That's a very big run. His first base hit as a Minnesota Twin. Brian Harper, as we mentioned, as you see Sparky Anderson walking out to the mound. Brian Harper in his first ball game since being called up from Portland, their AAA ball club, and Sparky Anderson is going to make a change. The last pitch by Doyle Alexander was a terrible pitch, a mistake that Brian Harper took advantage of, a breaking ball that hung inside.
Well, while there's a break in the action, Minnesota 5, Tigers 3. We'll pause for these messages.
Cast is presented by the authority of the Detroit Baseball Club and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any use or reproduction of this game without the written consent of the Detroit Baseball Club is prohibited. The announcers for these telecasts are selected by the Detroit Baseball Club and WDIV and compensated by WDIV.
Eric King is the new pitcher for the Tigers, who replaces Doyle Alexander. You see the record of Eric, just recently brought up from Toledo, their AAA ball club. Only an inning of the third, 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 1. Of course, you all know the story about Eric in spring training. Eric wanted to be a starting pitcher. Sparky Anderson thought he had enough starting pitching. And Eric had made a few accusations that he wasn't going to be a relief pitcher. Then Sparky sent him back to the minor leagues, and you see his record there at Toledo, 3 wins and 4 losses. Pitched very well for the Toledo Mud Hens.
He'll be facing Greg Gagne with 2 on and 2 outs. And he got a breaking ball over. 1 strike to Gagne. Tiger bullpen allowed just 8 of 37 inherited runners to score. And that's very good. Strike 2, good fastball.
There's not too many people in the game of baseball that has a better arm than Eric King. Just a matter of putting it all together. There's a lot of good arms in the baseball, but there's a lot more to it than just rearing back and throwing the ball.
San Diego beat the Mets 6-3, 46,000 at Shea Stadium. There's a base hit. Going to get a run in. The throw coming to the plate and not in time. Greg Gagne with a big base hit. Harper goes on to third. Gagne down to second on the throw to the plate, and it's 6-3.
And this is what I mean. It takes more than a good arm. You have to know when to pitch and make good pitches and when not to. He throws a pitch up and out over the plate, and you know that Gagne is trying to protect the plate and going to try to hit the ball to right field.
Six to 3, Minnesota leads it, and the batter is Gladden with runners at second and third. This all started with 2 outs and nobody on. And the pitch outside. He had 2 quick strikes on Gagne, as Al pointed out, when he slammed it into right field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Minnesota has 10 hits. Tigers have 8. And the 1-1 pitch coming up to Gladden. And he pops it in the air to right field. Lemon backing up. He'll pick it off, and the inning is over. But not before they get a couple of runs. 2 runs on 3 hits. We go to the ninth. 6-3, Minnesota. Here's the Miller Lite American League scoreboard. Toronto beat the White Sox 4-2 today. Cerruti the winner. LaPointe takes the loss. Milwaukee 7, Cleveland 2. Filer gets his second win. Candiotti the loser. 11-1 Kansas City over Texas. That's in the 5th inning. Baltimore has taken an early 1-0 lead over California. Boston 1-0 over Oakland, both first inning. And the Yankees play in Seattle later.
And Jeff Reardon, the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. Of course, he's the ace of their staff. He has 11 saves on the year, 0-2, as you see there on your monitor.
And the pitch is outside. Ball 2, no strikes to Trammell. He's had a couple of hits today, 2 for 3. 6-3, Minnesota leads it here in the 9th inning. And a strike makes it 2-1. He closed it out here last night. Ball 2, strike 1, and a foul out of play. What did they call him in Montreal? The exterminator, I believe.
I believe that's right. There's nothing fancy about him. He comes at you hard. He has a good live fastball, but what really makes him is his control. It has excellent control.
It's ball 2 and strike 2. And a fly ball to center. Kirby Puckett. Now Bush over there, but Puckett takes charge out there. If he can reach it, he'll take over and catch it. And that's the way a good center fielder should, I guess. Trammell is out, and the batter will be Chet Lemon. This fella pitches a lot like Goose Gossage. Doesn't throw quite as hard, but he just comes at you with one strike after another, throwing very hard. There's a strike to Lemon. Chester Lemon is due to get a bloop hit. He's hit 3 balls very hard today, and he has nothing to show for it. Look out. Breaking ball hangs inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Minnesota has 6 runs on 10 hits. The Tigers 3 runs on 8 hits. And got the breaking ball over. Makes it 1-2. Darrell Evans in the on-deck circle to bat for Herndon. We have to wait. There's a baseball loose from the Tiger bullpen. Hernandez is throwing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a fly ball to right, going back, way back and off the wall, and headed for second is Lemon. Well, Chester, after hitting 4 hard today, finally gets a base hit. Boy, you see how big those 2 runs are that were scored in the 8th inning.
Well, we talked so much about Chester, who has had a great start this year, hitting the ball more to the opposite field, and he missed just hitting a home run by no less than 2 feet. And you're right, he has hit the ball so hard today. Finally, he's only adjusted that he does get 1 base hit.
Darrell Evans is the batter. Matt Noakes has moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Heath. Tigers down by 3 in the 9th inning, and they're rather quiet in the Metrodome at the moment. 1 strike to Darrell.
The Tigers really have not mind facing Reardon. He has not pitched all that well against them. Last season, 6 innings, he allowed 7 hits and 5 runs.
Darrell waiting on the 1-strike pitch. And a bouncer towards second. It'll be cut off by Gagne, and he'll throw him out. They had the semi-shift on, which meant that Gagne was well over near the bag. Herr was in the hole toward first base, and it was an easier play for the shortstop. We'll look at it again. You can see the shortstop field many balls on this side of second base.
And you notice that Chet Lemon held up. And the reason he held up, he did not know whether the pitcher was going to make the play or not.
And his run means
nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And they've got the shift on for Matt Noakes completely. The Boudreaux shift, if you will. 3 infielders on the right side of the infield. Matthew batting. Here you see the 3 infielders. Matthew batting with a runner at second, 2 outs. And he lines it foul. And that was a breaking ball from Reardon. Even with his good fastball, they want to throw Noakes breaking balls.
And that's a difference from a year ago that they were challenging Noakes with fastballs. Now they're starting to throw him a lot of breaking balls, particularly down and in. And that has a tendency with that pitch, either swing and miss it or hit a ground ball to second base.
43,000 here today. 43,727. They just announced the attendance. They've drawn 759,000 plus at the Metrodome. And the 1-strike pitch. We'll make it 1-1.
Yeah, they've turned this franchise around, and of course they, with new management and also with a winning ball club, the people are coming out and they're having a great time. And as we mentioned before, George, a lot of young people in the stands every day.
It's 1-2 to Matt Noakes with a runner at second, and the pitch from Reardon. He struck him out, and it's all over. Matt Noakes went for the breaking ball down and in, and he's out on strikes. Final score of the game, Minnesota 6, the Tigers 3, and we'll be right back. Miller Lite Tiger player of the game today is Larry Herndon, who had a single and a home run, and Miller Lite is pleased to send a $100 donation in his name to the Children's Hospital of Michigan, and we'll be right back. Sweep for Minnesota here this weekend is to beat the Tigers today 6-3. Anderson gets the win, and Doyle Alexander takes the loss for the Tigers. For Al Kaline and Bernie Smilovitz, this is George Kell, hoping you'll be with us this Saturday night at 7:30 in Detroit when the Tigers face the Cleveland Indians. Once again, the final score today, Minnesota 6, Detroit 3.
Tigers 88. Today's game was brought to you by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. By your Greater Michigan and Metro Detroit Ford dealers. And by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has your order. Make a run for the border. Tigers 88. Another reason why WDIV is first for sports.